This is the vlog for July 18th, 2018. And today or tomorrow is going to be pretty important because I believe tomorrow marks the 5-month anniversary since I started this little experiment back in February, shortly after my birthday. But it's also a very important day because for the first time since, I want to say, Friday or Saturday, maybe not even, God, I can't remember the last time it was legitimately, like, cool. Like, to the point where you wanted to maybe keep your window closed. And I actually did this morning because the wind was picking up and I wanted to be able to sleep a little bit better. So at about 4 in the morning, I closed my window and I didn't need to open it even when I got up. I opened it so that the cool air would come in during the day, but it was cloudy this morning. It was cloudy, and it's going to be cloudy again tonight, and it's going to be cloudy again tomorrow morning, and the high tomorrow is going to be 76, and I couldn't be happier. I really am at 100% at my best when we have warm weather for maybe 4 or 5 days, and then we have rain or just some days to cool off so that you're not stuck with like a 2-week period of just heat. And I don't remember Friday being too hot, but I do remember Thursday being quite warm because I went over to my buddy's place. We were doing the D&D stuff, and they had to have their fan on. I was glad that their apartment was, very cool compared to what I was expecting. But it was quite warm. It was so warm that I was happy to stay inside in the bar before we went to their place. We had drinks over at the Malt and Vine nearby. And I didn't want to be outside because it was quite warm outside. And also, we couldn't be because there were so many people sitting outside because they thought it was nice. They hadn't been sitting in a house all day that was just steaming hot. But Saturday or Sunday is when it was so hot here that I went to the library to stay cool, and it wasn't that cool, and my arms got all gross and sweaty. And Monday and Tuesday this week have just been terrible. Saturday, I remember being quite warm as well, but I was sort of caught up in the difficulty of my drug test, so I wasn't focused as much on the heat as I was on my own circumstance. But yeah, that was Saturday, and Friday was quite warm. Went in for the paperwork. Thursday was quite warm. Wednesday was quite warm. Maybe not as warm, but it's been like a full week with temperatures getting well into the 80s, breaking into 90 a couple of times. That is just really rough for people living in Western Washington who do not have air conditioning. I think, I don't remember if I mentioned, my folks are getting a air conditioning unit, and it's going to arrive next week, and then I am going to just check its performance, and if it is good, I might get one of my own. So, but I want to figure out how theirs works before I jump into that. And I don't get paid until next week, so it's going to be another week before I can even afford to get one. I'm pretty happy with how much money I've actually managed to save over the last 2 months not working. Collecting the unemployment checks has made a big difference, but I've just been careful and frugal and not spending a lot of unnecessary money on unnecessary things. Well, I've spent a fair amount of money on unnecessary things, but I've done so carefully. So, and I gave the other player's handbook to Philip today. He was unaware that the gift was coming, but now I feel like I really do owe Lindsay and Proby one, so I might have to order another one for them. I mentioned to Philip that it really is a selfish thing when I'm generous, and that sounds funny, right? But it's the case that I do it because of how good it makes me feel. It's a sort of rationalization thing where if I'm spending money on other people, it's okay to be a bit frivolous because it's a gift. And it's almost like I love the act of buying more than having a thing, which would make sense in some respect to the huge collection of plastic toys that I own that I seem unable to be willing to part with. Um, so, in that vein, I'm sort of fulfilling this selfish desire to get things um, by uh, rationalizing that I'm giving it to somebody else when I'm still just spending money on stuff that I don't need. Certainly, I already have a player's handbook, so buying another one wouldn't be something that I need to do, but it does feel good. And the other thing that's selfish about it, and I told this to Philip straight up, is that when we're sitting around playing, I'm only going to have one copy of the book, and if everybody needs to check something on their character at roughly the same time, waiting to pass that book back and forth is just going to take way too long. So this way, there are more books for people to use. They don't require me, and as I mentioned last night, they're much better than using a PDF when you're trying to reference something or look something up. So, 6:40. Really not a lot else to talk about today. I'm just so thrilled that it cooled off today, and it's going to be even cooler tomorrow and the day after that. I'd love to have a little bit of rain, and the worst part is knowing that the forecast is for even hotter days Monday and Tuesday next week. Tuesday is my mother's birthday. I think we'll probably do dinner. I know my dad, he'll probably do burgers and brats on the grill for her birthday, or something that he can cook that she enjoys, so that she doesn't have to do anything. She may still make her own birthday cake. That's the kind of person my mom is. But yeah, so then, I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.